God, we're reminiscing of the Moth here. We had Mitch who won it twice. Anush has won it. Person coming after me, Ed Gavigan's won it 3 times. I'm probably the only one that got on the Moth by losing. And I told that story the first time a couple of months ago. And in that story, the reason I got on the Moth is because I drive a yellow cab for 40 years, and I get emails wanting me to be on reality TV shows, and they keep telling me you're going to be the next Kim Kardashian of cab drivers and stuff like this. And so one morning, I get an email from the producers of The Amazing Race. And I go, oh my God, this is the biggest reality show on TV. This is not cable television. This is CBS after 60 Minutes every Sunday. And what I knew about it was that there's 10 pairs of people go around the world, and the one pair that make it to the end wins $1 million. And I go, oh my God, I could be on this, but the only thing is you need a pair. Like they have mother-daughter, father-son, pizza makers, plumbers, and as a cab driver, it's very solitary. I don't have a co-pilot. So I go down to my garage in Long Island City, and my friend Seth Goldman's getting off his shift, and I come in there, it was like a scene out of The Honeymooners. I was Ralph Cramley, he was Ed Norton, and I go, man, Seth, this is it, our ship is coming, we're gonna win $1 million, man, this is it, let's do it. So he agreed. So now the next part of the process is you have to do a 3-minute video about why you want to be on The Amazing Race. So me and Seth are standing in front of a camera, and I go, listen, how are we going to lose this thing? We got the luck of the Irish, and we got the chosen people. Seth looks into the camera, and he goes, I'm the only Jew in New York with no ambition, we need the money. Send it off to Los Angeles, next thing, a contract arrives. It's about this big, and we're looking at it, and they said, you know, we're going to own your image, we're going to own your voice. If it appears on a coffee mug, it appears on anything, any platform, we own it, and platforms that have yet to be invented. So we figured, you know what, we better show this to an entertainment lawyer. We just happened to know one. She drank with us at Rocky Sullivan's, just literally up the street from here, and she drank Guinness, and that was the only qualifications we needed for an entertainment lawyer. So we go there, and Debbie's sitting there having a Guinness, and we show the contract, and she's going in, and she looks up at us, she goes, listen fellas, if you sign this contract, you're signing away your life. I go, Debbie, we're yellow cab drivers. We don't have a life to sign away. Sign it away, next thing, tickets to Los Angeles, 7 days, hotels, free food, everything. Me and Seth are heading to LA. We're gonna hit all the Irish bars, we're gonna do the tours. We're not beach type of guys, we're more indoor type of guys. So we get out there, and we go to the hotel, and we're walking through the lobby, me and Seth, and this woman comes up to us, and she goes, are you the yellow cab drivers from New York? I go, is it that obvious? She goes, follow me. We go up to the desk, and she signs us in under a phony name. And then she brings us up to our room, and she said, sit on the bed, fellas. For the next 7 days, you're not allowed to leave this room. You're going to get a phone call telling you which room to go to. If you're caught talking to anyone in the hall, in the elevator, or in the restaurant, you're going to be sent back to New York. This is not turning out quite the way we thought. So every day we get a phone call. Go to room 505. You go up there. It's a psychiatrist. She wants to talk to you to see if you're not crazy. You go back to your room. Another phone call. You go to 607. And you do an aptitudes test to see if you're somewhat literate. And then you go back. And then every day we get a phone call to go to room 47. And you meet with the CBS executives. And they'll be all there, sitting in front of you, about 20 of them. And they pepper you with questions. What would you do in this scenario? What would you do in that scenario? We tell them, and tell us some cabbie stories. So Seth had a great story. He grew up Jewish in Brooklyn, and in his household, Mel Brooks was played every day. The 2,000-year-old man, he was king of the Jews. And as fate would have it, Seth picked up Mel Brooks in Manhattan, and he was taking him to Broadway where the producers were on. So him and Mel Brooks start talking about how they're both from Brooklyn, the bagels are better in New York than Los Angeles, they both married Goyim, and it was a great story. So we come out of the room, and one of the executives comes up to us and goes, "Oh God, Seth, we love that ethnic stuff, and if you can just, when you come back, if you can just Jew it up a little bit." Now, it sounds a little anti-Semitic, but this is California. That's how they talk. So we go back to our room once again, go to bed, get up the next morning. Now, you think you know a guy when you go out drinking with them. We go to the Brooklyn Cyclone games. We went to Shea Stadium, see the Mets, got drunk at Rocky Sullivan's. The next morning, Seth had woke up, and he morphed into a combination of Shecky Green and Jackie Mason. And his head was sinking into his shoulders, and his first language now is Yiddish. And he's going, "Hey, these schmucks, we got to schlep down there." So we get the phone call to go down there, and he starts going, "You're all meshugana, this meeting is a shanda." So I'm looking at Seth, and I go, "I better jump on this bandwagon." I take off my hat. Begorra, top of the morning to you. "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling." They loved it. We were now characters of characters. I look like I got off the set of The Quiet Man, and Seth just left a shtetl in Russia. They loved it. So now we go back to the room. The days are going on. I'm getting more tired. Seth's getting more Jewish. And then we get a call, "Come to Suite 101. So we go down there, and it's these big sliding doors, and we open them up, and next thing, there's 100 people, Klieg lights everywhere, people with clipboards, cameras everywhere, and they announced to us, "We're now going to do an episode of The Amazing Race." So me and Seth are standing there, everyone's staring at us, and we're looking at each other. We never watched The Amazing Race. We knew the concept of it, and we knew we were going to win $1 million, because in our head, we already had it spent. And they hand us an envelope, and there's clues in it. So we're running around this room. The cameras are following us. We're tripping. We don't know. We're looking under chairs, looking under tables. We're looking for another envelope, a clue. Then we get to a puzzle, these big pieces. We couldn't put them together, and I go like this, "Seth, let's go. It's over. We're getting out of here. We're going back to New York." So we're starting to walk out, and the casting director goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "We're not cut out for reality TV." She goes, "But you don't understand. We've never had yellow cab drivers." I said, "Well, now you know why." And she goes, "How come you couldn't do the puzzle?" I said, "We just couldn't do it." She goes, "It's the logo for The Amazing Race." I said, "Listen, send us home." So she goes like this, and the interns come over, and they give us these many DVDs, every episode of The Amazing Race. She said, "Now go up to your room. Do not leave there until you watch every episode. Food will be sent up to you." For the next 24 hours, we watched every episode of The Amazing Race. Now we were experts, right? Come down, day 6, everyone's over the moon. We get a call, go to room 804, and it's a doctor in the room. He said he was a doctor, he's got a stethoscope, we didn't care. And this is before COVID, where, everybody's a little bit leery about getting vaccinations. He started giving us vaccinations, Ebola, malaria, hepatitis A, B, C. We said, "Come on, bring it on. What do we care? Shoot us up. We're on The Amazing Race." So they took our passports, and they were getting visas of the countries we're going to. And they wouldn't give us back our passports, because they said, "You'll see from the visas where you're going," because they don't want to know what countries you're going. I said, "Well, God forbid, we're going to Bono, and I can't call my friends there to tell them we're coming there," right? So now we have our final meeting with the CBS executives. We go in there, they're high-fiving us. Amazing Race has finally got the yellow cab drivers, and we're sitting there, we're yucking it up, telling cabbie stories, and it was like a scene out of Columbo. I'm just getting out of the seat, and the CBS executive goes, "One more question, John." And he goes, "Would this be a correct quote from the New York Times, that you are the chief and resident critic of the Irish peace process in New York City?" I'm looking around. Now, I've been hosting a show on WBAI for the last 40 years, the last 10 years with Malachi McCord. And in 1998, we had a New York Times reporter in the studio. And he was covering the peace process in 1998, and he wrote about it. So I said, "That quote's probably correct." And he said to me, "Why are you against it?" And I said, "Well, why are you for it? Am I here as a cab driver, or do you want the history of Ireland?" Now, the New York attitude that got me out to Los Angeles was quickly sinking me. So now the casting director cuts everything short, and we're walking out. Seth goes, "Speed bump." I said, "Seth, that's a little bit more than the speed bump. Tell you, we got problems." So day 7, We go back to New York. I'm not in New York 2 hours. We're getting phone calls. John, what did you do out in LA? I said, what do you mean what did you do? We're hearing things. Hey, what are you hearing? What do you mean you were hearing things? So when we signed the contract, you had to give 5 references. And a company called up the references and asked questions like, does he beat his wife? Does he shoot dope? Does he kick his dog? Does he own a gun? Just general all-American questions. The same company's now calling up the same 5 references. This is John McDonagh. Do you know what terrorist organizations he belongs to? What terrorist groups does he raise funds for? Even at this stage, Seth said, this does not look good. So a couple of days later, I get a phone call and I'm driving the cab. I see it's from CBS. And they said, we'll not be using you for the Amazing Race. We're mailing back your passport. So that is how WBAI and the Irish peace process cost me and Seth $1 million. All right. Now, the reason I told that story now is because I made a fatal mistake with Ed Gavigan here, who won the Moth at least 3 times, with an incredible story. He's been heard by tens of millions of people. I had Brendan Fay follow him, and Brendan wanted to kill me. I was not going to make the same mistake tonight of have Ed come up and then follow Ed, because you can't follow Ed. I know it's like, yeah, he's, oh, no. But listen, Ed is part of the first Irish Origin Theatre Festival. He will be telling 45 minutes of his 90-minute stand-up. He's heading over to Ireland now to do his play, and then there's hope that he's going to be at St. Anne's in Brooklyn come September doing his full play. His director is Kathleen Burns, the artistic director of the Moth for the last 20 years. I saw it over in the West Village. It's as gripping a one-man show as you'll ever see, and I can't recommend enough. Ed's going to be doing it for 5 nights here at O'Malley's. He's doing it tomorrow and Saturday, and I think next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right here. And if you get a chance and you want to see the true art of storytelling, no better person than Ed. Ed, thanks. And thanks for coming.